fraud schemes targeting traditional payment methods and otherwise. Dennis, I know you and I were chatting a little bit about a generic situation from a member that you worked with, but anything you want to share about that example or anything else on what you're seeing and hearing about fraud or what you did at your credit union to it?
Yeah. And this is sort of at the end of my career is just all the fraud that you post to the elderly. That happens quite a bit, particularly, and this one happened to be a timeshare resale fraud scenario where we had a member wants to wire off 25,000. I get wind of it. I was contacted saying, hey, we think there's something wrong here. This doesn't really fit the member's profile. She's a retired school teacher. This doesn't fit her profile. So then we do a little bit more digging, give her a call, ask her what's going on. And she talks about, well, I can sell my timeshare for $1 million. I forget the number. Well, there's no way you're going to sell a timeshare for $1 million. It just doesn't work like that. Maybe there are some, but not for us, not for her, right? Not for that type of individual. She's elderly. We're trying to talk to her and saying, well, if you take a look at some of the latest scams, that's a big scam going out there right now. Go to the Attorney General's site. We can show you that information because this person wants you to send them 25,000. You're probably not going to get that money back. Right. So they call her, it was an probably unsolicited type of offer that she received. Say, we can sell your timeshare for $1 million. All you got to do is, you just need to wire us 25 grand and then you can collect that back at closing. And she was convinced, right, that it was the real deal. So tried to talk to her, got her on the phone with Attorney General. So we sort of went well beyond because it was an elderly individual. Don't want her to lose 25,000 because once a wire is gone or is out, it's gone. You can't get that back. I think finally at the end, we were able to maybe talk to her and maybe a daughter of hers to have her stop because we weren't going to do the wire. We said, well, if you want this, you're going to have to do it someplace else because we know this is fraud.
Oh, it's great.
You're going to be out 20 grand. So there's a lot of that stuff. Not only that, right? You get the mail bride. We've seen those where it's crazy what goes on out there for our members, what they're facing as far as these types of incidences. So I just wanted to share that.
I have a question for you, Dennis.
Yeah.
Had you heard about ATM jackpotting before? I never heard that term till I read this risk word.
Yeah. Yep. I've heard of that. I haven't seen that happen in our area. Maybe it has, but in our area where we've seen a lot of ATM fraud was on skimming, and it's gotten a lot. There was a ring here about 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know. There were a lot of financial institutions that got hit. It was pretty sophisticated. So with skimming, they put a device at the ATM and they read the card, make stripe, and then they have a little camera up above getting the PIN number. And then they create these clone cards. Then 4 or 5 days later, we get these phone calls right from our members saying, hey, we got money leaking out of our account. What's going on? Then you take a look at our cameras. Sure enough, you see the individuals messing with our ATMs generally at like 2 or 3 in the morning. So no one necessarily is paying attention. And so we've seen that, but yeah, I've seen it. I've heard of ATM jackpotting, but the skimming thing, I've seen that type of situation maybe should be diminishing just because of the types of cards we're using today. But those types of things happen, I think, quite often to financial institutions, skimming and possibly jackpotting as well.
What is ATM jackpotting?
So they actually get control of the ATM using a universal key or whatever, and they install software to let them just push a bunch of buttons and it just spits out all the cash in the machine. But they're actually getting into the operating system of the ATM. Quite often with universal keys, which means there's probably somebody from inside the credit union or somebody inside the money transfer people, Wells Fargo, the people that pick up money and stuff. Armored Car Services, there we go. They have universal ATM keys.
That's just reminded me of, it's like a different version of stealing the key from the postmaster so you can go in the corner mailbox and then take all the checks and wash off the ink and rewrite them and all that.
So hopefully you have good tampering types of tools on your ATMs that would detect that someone's messing around with your ATM and get some kind of notification. So
Yep.
Or
Add another, add another layer of cost to protect it. Yep.
sometimes they will hook a laptop or a Palm like Raspberry to them, and they'll put them in like a supervisor mode, or kind of like almost you're a super user, like you're altering the software, and they literally take over the ATM.
That's wild. That's wild.
I didn't even know it was an issue till we read this risk report, and I guess it's kind of an ever-growing big issue, big enough that they spend a paragraph talking about it in this risk report.
Good point. Good point. Steve?
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add. Very good. All right. So, BSA, AML compliance burdens are increasing.
Right.
As a